I'm back again for the second day in a row, excuse me, which is unusually regular for me, but I'm doing my top 30 heavy metal albums of 2018, and the way it's formatted is in no fucking order at all, because I couldn't be bothered. No, it's not that at all. Like, if you want to read in depth what I do, always say, read my review site. I'm a better writer than I am a vlogger. But I've got 10 cassette tapes, 15 CDs, and 5 vinyl, just because I was going to do 10 of each, but then some bands that I only have this CD or tape of would have been lost out, and I think the music itself is more important than the format for this type of video. But I did want to get a mixture so you wouldn't just be looking at the same thing. So first, I will say as well, I just remembered, I'm not going to be talking in super high detail about each thing, because otherwise we're going to be here for about 2 hours. If you want to read my reviews, they're at www.natskog.wordpress.com, and you can read me write maybe 1,000 words on each album in many of these cases. But for now, I'm going to show you the album, tell you the band name, album name, maybe a song if I remember. And you guys can do the work. This is some awesome music, everything on here. I've bought maybe 200 releases this year. Narrowed it down to 30, maybe even more than that, maybe 300. And I've heard a hell of a lot more than that, maybe 2,000. So the stuff here, this is all, in my personal opinion, the best of this year. There is nothing on here that is anything other than absolutely insanely good. So first I will do vinyl, and number 1 on the video is Witch Sorrow with Hexenhammer on Candlelight Records. Absolutely amazing British doom metal. I've listened to this easily a dozen times this year since it came out. I love this record. So yeah, that's number 1. Next, this is one that if you haven't heard me talk about, you probably don't follow me, but Hooded Menace, which I actually have the CD and cassette of this, but I chose to show the vinyl because I can. It's a great album. The Osarium Silhouettes Unhallowed, I had to read that because I knew I'd fuck it up. Otherwise, if you like kind of really atmospheric death doom, I just adore this album. I listen to it all the time. Next, Cruel Magic. That was on Season of Mist, by the way. Cruel Magic by Satan, which is on Metal Blade Records, and it has the old record logo, which I absolutely love. I think Brandon Scourge of Vinyl talked about the old logo as well. It's not just me who thinks it's way cooler, but anyway, amazing new wave of British heavy metal record. Certainly worth listening to. They're a classic band. Next, the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Aborted with TerrorVision on Sanctuary Media. An absolutely crushingly brutal and technical death metal release, as we would come to expect by now from Aborted. And finally for vinyl, by the legends themselves, Firepower by Judas Priest on Sony Music. This is really heavy. I think this is 200 gram. And there's 2 vinyls, 4 sides. So it's quite heavy. This is the red vinyl edition. I absolutely love this album. I think it's definitely one of the best things Judas Priest has put out in a while. I can't wait to see them in February for the 3rd time. Next, we will be doing cassettes. So first for that will be Craft with their new album White Noise and Black Metal on Season of Mist. Absolutely insane, mind-blowingly kind of, I wouldn't go as far as avant-garde, but it's certainly very kind of dissonant and inhuman sounding, as Craft are brilliant at doing. Now on Nuclear Blast, following Bolt Thrower's legacy, and certainly doing their own thing with it, but definitely keeping that sound alive, is Memoriam with The Silent Vigil. I saw these guys a couple times. I met up with them this year actually, and I have the CDs and tapes of both albums. I really like this album. I think it's a really high quality album from some really cool people. Next we have Archgoat with the Luciferian Crown. This is the Inferno Profundis Records cassette edition, obviously. This is what, if you don't think this is a cassette, then maybe I need to do slower videos. But yeah, Absolutely crazy album. I saw them, what day is it today? Shit. I think it was Thursday with Marduk, as I spoke about. Absolutely great album. Really love this, and I think it's one of the more kind of listenable Archgoat albums for people who don't like it maybe as extreme as usual, but I think it's really cool. Next, some absolutely amazing death metal, Manner of Infinite Forms by Tomb Mold, which is on 20 bucks spin. I think this is going to be one you hear a lot of people say if you watch a lot of metal YouTubers and follow like review sites. I think this is a name everyone's heard a lot, but this is my video, so I'm keeping them in. I love that album. Next on Hell's Headbangers, we have, what's it called? Grotesque Offerings by Druid Lord. This is very much in the same kind of vein as Hooded Menace, very atmospheric and horror kind of feeling, death doom. I love this one as well. And then from the UK on Death Cult Productions, we have Abduction, who I'm actually playing with next month. I don't know, you can see the artwork, 'cause it's quite dark. Maybe if I take it out of the shell. There we go. So if, it's a solo project with some extremely, again, dissonant and harsh black metal with very strong feeling of bands like Leviathan and that kind of thing, with some kind of ambience and psychedelia in there. But yeah, they're supporting us in the Nottingham date for the Sickly Gangland weekend tour. So I saw Abduction at Bloodstock this year. I'm very excited to play. The dude's really good at what he does. I really enjoyed that. Now another 20 buck spin release. We have Coffin Birth by Extremity. It's just some great death metal, exactly how it originally sounded, exactly how it should be. They've said it themselves. They don't want to push the boat out with this. They just want to do what they love doing, and they do it really well. Next, I think one of my favourite black metal releases is Ancient Spells of Darkness by, they're Belgian. So I'm not sure if they would say this Monen of Zezbeth. I'd have personally guessed it's Mernon, but whatever the hell, it's spelt like shit. That's backwards. It's spelt weird, but Monen of Zezbeth, I'm gonna go with just for simplicity on Gramshal Records, because I live in Europe. It's much easier than buying it from the I think Nuclear War Now did it, although I do buy some stuff from them. Sometimes it's a lot easier to get it here. This is the green one. Excellent, very typically Central European sounding black metal with a really dense, very heartfelt feel to it, with some kind of very kind of dismal music. And now, although this was, I believe, on 20 bucks spin as well, this is the Extremely Rotten Productions copy from Denmark, so again, it's closer to me. The new Torture Rack, Malefic Humiliation, extremely crushing old school death metal. Came out, I think, at a very similar time to the new Tomb Mold, and these two were always being played by me. I love both. And finally, for cassettes on Hell's Headbangers is Whip Striker with Merciless Artillery, which is just some crazy, chaotic, blackened, thrashy, deathy, it's just absolutely killer. Like, just listen to it. It's got a bit of everything. Now, for the 15 CDs, I'm going to try and fire through these because I don't want this video to get so long that it kind of tapers off. On Metal Blade Records, the new Anal Nathrak album, a new kind of horror. A lot of people were sort of very unsure because they used a lot of industrial elements. I think it's Anal Nathrak doing what they do best and putting their middle finger to the kind of status quo and balance of the genre, but that's just me. Next on Nuclear Blast, the new Behemoth album, I Loved You at Your Darkest. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm sure all of you guys have heard this one by now, but it's absolutely stunning. Now on 20 bucks spin and Nuclear Blast, the new Chemist album, Desolation, which is like a stoner doom maybe album. And I think the clean vocals on this have to be my vocal performance of the year from actually singing the vocals. They're stunning. And then on Hell's Headbangers, Bone Hunter with Children of the Atom. This is actually signed, and I have a letter from Satanicist in there, because I spoke to him before ordering it. Absolutely killer, kind of black thrash punky. Stick it on, go fucking crazy. I believe they're from Finland. It's absolutely awesome. And then, of course, on Dark Descent, I will have to have Hyperdontia's Nexus of Teeth. Some of the most crushingly and obliteratingly dark death metal to grace my eardrums. Next, of course, it was going to be on here, Watain with Trident Wolf Eclipse on the Sanctuary Media and their own label, His Master's Noise. This is actually becoming maybe my favourite Watain album. Nuclear Alchemy, I think, especially, which I have the 7-inch single of, is one of the most chaotically crushing songs. I saw them twice this year, and the second time I was in the pit, Nuclear Alchemy came on, and it was just the most primal kind of testosterone, chaotic atmosphere ever. Now, I would maybe even say my favourite black metal album of the year is Hecatomb by Funeral Mist. The riffs on Naught But Death and Hosanna have not actually failed to give me goosebumps or chills. This is shit, which labels this on NED. Oh fuck, I didn't do my research. I'm sorry about this, guys. Norma Evangelicum Diaboli. Sorry about that. Absolutely killer album though. Do not let this go under the radar. Next, back to Hell's Headbangers, we have the new Cemetery Lust, Rotting in Piss. It's absolutely fucking crazy, punky death metal. I love this. It's just really fun record. And then back to 20 Buck Spin. I'm a bit biased on some of these, I guess. Is Scorched Ecliptic Butchery, kind of cosmic, crushing, old school death metal. It's definitely with the new Tomb Mold and one other that hasn't appeared yet, but you'll know it when you see it. One of my favourite death metal albums this year. And now for the final pile of 6, I think, last albums. Gruesome, Twisted Prayers. This is death worship done right. This is absolutely amazing. I think it's a great tribute to Chuck's legacy to put out new music, but influenced by his style, and he totally lives on in Gruesome, and I think they've done Chuck Schuldiner and everybody who has been a part of Death absolute honour by doing this. Now Sargeist on WTC or World Terror Committee Records, their new, or Productions maybe, their new album Unbound. It's a very atmospheric record. It's very cold, like Sargeist have that perfectly cold and very emotive Finnish sound that I love, and this is no different. It's a great new record to the catalogue, certainly worth listening to. Now on Relapse, I think our first record from them is Realms of Eternal Decay by Outer Heaven. This album is just some crazy good old school death metal, which there's been a lot of, but this can't be off the list. Now from a Swedish death metal style, which I spoke about yesterday, Feral with, fuck, I've forgotten it again, Flesh for Funerals Eternal on Transcending Obscurity Records. This is just Swedish death metal worship from Sweden, done right. I absolutely adore this record. Second to last, I think speed metal or black thrash maybe. Hellish from Chile. This is on Dark Descent and Unspeakable Acts Records with The Spectre of Lonely Souls. It's about half an hour long, and it's half an hour of getting your ass kicked by just crazy, thrashy, extreme metal goodness from Chile. And finally, my favourite album of 2018. I think all of you know exactly what the fuck I'm going to say, because I've talked about them over and over and over. They're a Swedish band. They're on Transcending Obscurity Records. This less than 30-minute, I believe, album has kicked the shit out of me again and again and again. Rituals by Cruel. This is just absolutely fucking amazing. If you haven't listened to me and gone and checked that album out yet, I give the fuck up. Honestly, listen to it. It's less than half an hour. It doesn't take much of your day. It's so good. And while you're there, listen to about 10 more hours of music with these 30 albums. Have a great day and stay metal.